Nigerian Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Weep moment. Atiku Abubakar shake TV station with new evidence as he exposes him on Senator Natasha. A fresh tape allegedly exposes Nigerian Senate President Godswill Akpabio as a woman abuser, confirming accusations made by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The revelation caused a major stir on live television, catching both the public and Godswill Akpabio off guard, leading to intense reactions. Senator Natasha previously accused Godswill Akpabio of harassment, including an attempt to sleep with her. Though she initially lacked evidence, the new tape appears to support her claims. The controversy highlights how Nigerian politicians hold secrets about each other, often using them as weapons in power struggles. Natasha and Akpabio had a heated argument in the Senate, with Natasha aggressively confronting him, gaining public sympathy, especially from women. The dispute has distracted the Senate from its primary duties, with ongoing accusations, legal battles, and personal vendettas dominating proceedings. Natasha has filed a petition to disbar Senator Neda Imasuen, chairman of the Senate Ethics Committee, alleging he was disbarred in the US for fraud. The Senate Ethics Committee handling Natasha's suspension is accused of bias, leading to calls for an independent committee to ensure fairness. Questions arise over whether past legal punishments should affect political careers, with concerns that Nigerian politics is becoming a safe haven for criminals. The scandal highlights systemic corruption, with Nigerian politicians accused of various crimes still holding powerful positions, raising concerns over accountability and governance. The controversy involving Nigerian Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has taken on new dimensions following the airing of a tape on national television that appears to corroborate long-standing allegations against the Senate President. In a series of events that has captured the attention of citizens and political observers alike, Godswill Akpabio was seen visibly emotional as the tape played, which seemingly confirmed that he had behaved inappropriately towards Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The broadcast not only startled the Senate President himself, but also sent shockwaves through the political establishment and the general public, stirring intense debates on accountability and the ethical standards expected from public officials in Nigeria. In a dramatic turn of events, the fresh tape, which was broadcast live on television, appeared to lend support to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's previous claims that Godswill Akpabio had attempted to pursue an improper relationship with her. Although these allegations had been voiced before, they had largely been dismissed due to a lack of concrete evidence. The release of the tape has now shifted the narrative, as it provides a visual account that many believe substantiates the accusations. As the footage unfolded on the screens, viewers witnessed a highly charged atmosphere where the dynamics of power, secrecy, and personal vendetta were laid bare for everyone to see. This development has opened up a broader conversation about the nature of interactions among Nigerian politicians, who often use personal revelations as weapons in their ongoing power struggles. The incident has not only put the spotlight on Godswill Akpabio's conduct, but has also raised serious questions about the overall climate of accountability within the Nigerian political system. Over the years, many have observed that Nigerian politics tends to be riddled with hidden agendas and backdoor dealings, where personal secrets are often weaponized to gain leverage over political opponents. The recent exposure on national television has provided further evidence of this practice. It has also drawn attention to the way in which sensitive matters are handled within the corridors of power, where issues of sexual harassment and abuse of authority are sometimes swept under the rug or manipulated for political gain. Throughout the televised exchange, there was an unmistakable sense of betrayal and indignation on the part of Senator Natasha Abubakar, who had previously accused Godswill Akpabio of misconduct. Her confrontation in the Senate was a moment that resonated strongly with many Nigerians, particularly women who have faced similar challenges in environments where power imbalances often go unchecked. For those who had long felt marginalized or silenced in the face of inappropriate behavior by powerful figures, this public airing of grievances was both cathartic and a call for justice. The emotional weight of the moment was palpable as viewers witnessed Godswill Akpabio's tearful reaction, which seemed to underscore the gravity of the allegations against him. Alongside the personal and political fallout from the tape, there have been legal and procedural repercussions that complicate an already tangled situation. Senator Natasha Abubakar has taken further action by filing a petition to disbar Senator Neda Imasuen, who serves as the chairman of the Senate Ethics Committee. Natasha Abubakar has alleged that Senator Neda Imasuen had previously been disbarred in the United States on charges related to fraud. This allegation not only adds another layer of scandal to the unfolding drama, but also highlights the broader concerns about the integrity and accountability of those who occupy positions of power within the Nigerian political system. Critics argue that the ongoing controversies are symptomatic of a political culture that tolerates corruption and unethical behavior, ultimately eroding public trust in governmental institutions. Throughout the heated discussions that have followed the broadcast, various political figures and commentators have expressed their views on the matter. The tension and acrimony on the Senate floor were apparent as accusations and counter-accusations flew between senators, each trying to protect their own interests while also capitalizing on the scandal to gain political advantage. This internal discord has not only distracted lawmakers from their legislative responsibilities, but has also made it increasingly difficult for the Senate to focus on national issues. The public spectacle has become a source of embarrassment for the Nigerian political establishment, which now faces mounting pressure to address these issues head-on and restore a sense of decorum and professionalism within its ranks. Moreover, the incident has sparked a wider debate about the role of evidence in political disputes. While some critics have questioned whether Senator Natasha Abubakar had provided sufficient proof in her earlier accusations, the release of the new tape seems to have shifted public opinion. The visual evidence has served as a powerful tool in validating the claims that had long been dismissed by some as mere political theatrics. For many Nigerians, the tape is a stark reminder that allegations of sexual harassment and abuse of power must be taken seriously and investigated thoroughly, regardless of the political status of the individuals involved. This shift in perspective underscores the urgent need for reforms that ensure transparency and accountability in the conduct of public officials. The incident also brings into focus the broader issue of how political disputes are conducted in Nigeria. The exchange between Godswill Akpabio and Senator Natasha Abubakar, which quickly devolved into a heated argument replete with personal insults and name-calling, has been widely criticized for undermining the dignity of the legislative process. There is a growing sentiment among citizens and political commentators alike that such confrontations not only damage the reputation of the Senate, but also contribute to a broader culture of impunity. When powerful individuals behave in ways that are both unprofessional and, at times, abusive, it sets a dangerous precedent that can encourage similar behavior among others who seek to manipulate the system for their own gain. As the story continues to develop, many are calling for an independent inquiry into the matter. There is a widespread belief that only a transparent and impartial investigation can help restore confidence in the political system.
It is very unfortunate that the political system of Nigeria have finally turned to a peaceful ground for criminals. A lot of criminals are finally coming into the system, and in the same vein, they are making the political system to perpetrate all their evil. Based on the issue of Natasha and Akpabio, Atiku Abubakar finally burst out on fresh evidence against Akpabio. He made it known to the general public that Akpabio is a woman abuser and all of that, that Natasha is not a liar, that Akpabio did everything that Natasha actually said, and provide an evidence. You will see it for yourself. I'll play you what Atiku Abubakar actually play out in live TV a few hours ago. TV stations scatter, everywhere paused because nobody ever expected it, because Natasha herself did not even provide any evidence. But come and see things that Atiku Abubakar actually showcased. So I will play the full video in this video. So let us stay connected to the end of the video. You can share the video, just where to share it. Share it to the best social media platforms. Let it go viral, and if you can share it, just like it, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. Just stay connected. I'll come back again.
Welcome you back to Atiku TV.
I don't have problems with it.
Just gossip.
What is the legal kind from habit?
What is happening in the Christendom? Next
Hello my great wonderful viewers, welcome back to Atiku TV. For those of you coming across this channel for the very first time, just want to click the rest association button appearing on your video screen, and at the same time click the notification bell icon so that whenever we drop a new video in few hours time, YouTube will easily let you to know. The media buzzed few hours ago because nobody ever expected what Atiku did. You know, Atiku is this kind of man that always come up with fresh evidence in that minute when a particular issue arises. You remember what Atiku did the 2020 election when they claimed that Tinubu actually have a Chicago State University certificate that was forged and all of that, and that was when the matter of Tinubu is already in the Supreme Court. But Atiku came up with fresh evidences even when the matter was lingering. He came up with fresh evidences. Now in the case of Natasha and Akpabio, Atiku have finally come out again. Atiku never said anything as regards the issue right from time, even to the extent that they suspended Natasha. You know how the story actually comes up. They suspended Natasha and he had been moving from one international station to another, reporting Akpabio and making it known to the general public worldwide that Akpabio is a woman abuser and a woman harasser and all of that. But Atiku never said a dime. But Atiku have finally burst out. Nobody ever expected what Atiku said. TV stations shake, everywhere boy a few hours ago, because what Atiku said and what Atiku showcased, nobody ever expected it. So I will play the full video in this very video. You will see this for yourself. You will get to know that politicians are the one that know the secret of each other. A common man do not know the secret of politicians. They are the one that know the secret of one another. So let us stay connected to the end of the video. You can share the video, just want to share it as you're watching it. Share it to the social media platforms. Let it go viral, and if you can share it, just like the video, like it, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. You know, when Natasha actually came up with the fact that Akpabio harassed her, all of that, and she was saying everything, even to the extent that she shouted on Akpabio in the Halo chamber and all of that. A lot of people actually put their support for Natasha because she's a woman, and a lot of women feel the pain of Natasha because before Natasha can actually come up with that kind of aggressive face in the Halo chamber that day, the day he shouted at Akpabio even as the Senate president, a lot of people came up with the premises that before Natasha can come up with that kind of attitude, that shows that something had been happening on the net. And Natasha actually came up to Arise TV to explain her whole part of the story. She said Akpabio knows her husband, and the same time Akpabio wanted to sleep with her and all of that. She said everything without missing words. She didn't put water in her mouth. She alleged that Akpabio had been harassing her and all of that. But the question out there is, did Natasha come up with any evidence? Those are the questions that a lot of intellectual people are actually asking, because whether you like it or not, no matter how terrible a person is, if you should allege or accuse a person of something, the first thing that people will ask for as a proof is the evidence. Do you have the evidence of what you say? Even when people know that this person is capable of doing that particular thing that you alleged him of, they will still ask for evidence so that they will know how to hold the person very well. But Natasha never come up with any evidence. We never know, maybe she have an evidence or not, but she only came up and narrated the ordeal that this is what happened. Akpabio have been harassing her and is a woman abuser and all of that. And it's not even Natasha that actually came up. A woman came up back then. She said she slapped Akpabio but based on the fact that Akpabio was trying to harass her, all of that she slapped Akpabio some years ago, and on the same vein, Natasha is still coming up with the same thing now. Who are we to believe? But Natasha never come up with evidence, and the evidence is what a lot of people are demanding for. But Kasala boss years ago, moment Atiku Abubakar finally stormed TV station, nobody ever expected it. Nobody ever saw this coming. Even Akpabio himself did not see this coming. So I will play the full video for you to see things the way they go. Arise TV boss Ruben Abatin and Rufai Oseni never expected what Atiku did and what Atiku said and what Atiku presented to them. They never see it coming. Arise TV boss. Just stay connected to the end of the video. If you can share it, just share it. If you can't share it, just like it. Like it, stay connected. I'll come back again.
See, there's something I see here about the Nigerian character. There's something about this pressure cooker life that we live in this country, and it gets worse from one administration to the other, that people find it very difficult to have very decent conversation. Yes. Now, all the traits of the Nigerian, character were on display in that, altercation. First, the senator was saying, "I'm a senator of the Federal Republic." Okay, everybody is busy with, "Do you know who I am?" Yes. Do you know who I am? We have this sense of importance, and then before you know it, the conversation will degenerate to name calling. One party calls the other hooligan. Shut up. The other one says you are a disgrace. The other one says you are a disgrace too. That that altercation should not have taken place on the floor or within the premises of the National Assembly. So I think it looks ugly. It speaks to the way we behave as Nigerians. If you were talking to foreigners and you talk like this, they will be afraid. They will think that you just left the Jew. Anyway, the second thing is to know that true fighting or happy or altercation is an offense. It's a felony under Section 84 of the Criminal Code. No, you are not allowed to fight in a public space or to, quarrel in such a manner that, you look like you want to take advantage of each other. However, there's something they call parliamentary privilege, which is the immunity that lawmakers and people who speak on the floor, under parliamentary proceedings enjoy. Number 3 is the point that, look, both are in the wrong. As the gentleman that you quoted, as the man you quoted, EJ, I think you quoted his tweet. He said that the senator was wrong. After all, we call senators distinguished people. Exactly. And a senator is supposed to conduct himself in a very responsible manner. Even if he was angry that he was called a hooligan and asked to shut up, there was a chairman of that meeting. He could have sought the protection of the chairman, and the chairman would have maybe asked, Mrs. Ezekisili to withdraw her statement. Right. And there will be some guy, but on his own he just jumped and took over the meeting, and then the thing degenerated. And Mrs. Ezekisili too, as an elderly person, shouldn't have, found herself in this kind of situation where we'll be talking to a senator that was born in 1982.
What was 1982?
He was born in 1982. No, he was born in 1982.
Yes.
And he himself, we're Africans. And he himself was saying, Ezekisili is an elderly person, a grandmother, and he was talking to her like that.
Come on,
the matter could have been handled in a different manner.
Yes.
And finally, which is my final point on this matter, is that, look, there's a lot of distraction. Where is the National Assembly, the Senate, going to find time now to do the work for which Nigerians have voted for them? Since March, we have not discussed any other thing. It is this Senator Akpabio's matter affecting other matters, dragging in other people in this matter. I hope that we will get through this as quickly as possible, and that Senate will return to serious lawmaking, which is his primary responsibility.
Right.
But it looks ugly both to Nigerians watching it and also to the international community. They asked Mrs. Ezekisili to go on oath at think that was what she said caused the matter, and she said she could not go on oath. Now, I don't know whether it's a standing order that you go on oath before you serve as a witness, before your matter can be adopted. So there are many gray areas in this particular matter.
Right.
But please,
absolutely.
we want more seriousness coming from the Senate.
Well said, Dr. I just wanted to raise it. I mean, should the Committee for Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions, address this matter? I mean, this is a sitting senator. I'm not going to go on Obi Ezekwesili because she's not within the Senate. Sitting senator, behaving in such a manner, is televised, is all over social media. Should he face disciplinary action?
No, but if he filed a petition, if there's a petition filed to his conduct, he should be able to respond.
I'd like for you to speak to that.
Okay, so see, both parties have blames to share here. But let me go to a background, because there is something before something. At first, those in defense of Natasha Akpoti had talked about bias of that committee. In fact, I hear there had been a court filing to debar the head of that committee, that Senator Maswe, in the first place. Secondly, the case of oaths, there was a back and forth, and this was what Senator Obi claimed, because there are two sides to the story. I said Senator Obi, goodness me, because the senator said you can never be here, so maybe she can be a senator, you don't know. So what she claimed was that they had stopped their team, from speaking, and he, the senator, whereby he said, if you people are not serious, we are ready to go ahead and take the oath. And then she interjected with that line, shut up. And he got infuriated and he said the following words, not my words. The full word, full and 70 smelly mouth, scandal, lots of words were going around, which was not good conduct by both parties. But I think the substantial matter we should talk about, Oji, is the fact that the real investigation by the Senate Ethics Committee should not be drowned in this side drama. We must get to the point where the Natasha team presents our own facts on the ground, and the Akpabio team also have their own facts on the ground, and we are able to weigh this so that we can get a reasonable conclusion. Yes. This drama is not necessary. I'm very sad that the first time that the Ethics Committee did sit down to hear this matter after a while, it is this drama we're taking out of it. The drama is not the substance of what happened. What happened is the fact that the Senator Natasha team is claiming bias on one side, and the Senate should be able to recuse itself if they claim bias against this committee, like they advise that a hard hoc committee should be set up. I think the Senate Committee on Ethics should recuse itself, since initially a case of bias has been established against them. A free independent committee so that we can get to the end of this matter. All right. And we can get done with all of this.
All right. I'd like to come to you on Obi Ezekwesili and her response right there on, Arise Prime Time. I mean, she did admit that she told the senator to please shut up, and obviously we also heard her call him a scoundrel. And, I just wanted to your thoughts on her behavior, her mannerism, and what's next? What would you like to see next happen?
All right, thank you so much. I thought it was a show of shame, especially a show of shame being televised. I have a lot of respect for Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, and whether or not she ever gets into the Senate, she has made her mark in history, whether as Vice President at the World Bank, a nominee for the Nobel Peace Prize, founding director, Transparency International, Fix Politics, and so many others. When an action is done, and I think what Dr. Batu mentioned it, that even if something was said to you that you didn't like, you didn't have to, Michelle Obama said, when they go high, when they go low, we go high. He could have easily just asked, this was, and then just quenched that matter. But he went off and he just went off. When you report a case of domestic violence and you say, what did the woman do? That question is very upsetting. Yes. But even beyond that, if you go to any law enforcement agency, it's the one that hits that gets apprehended. Yes. So it's your reaction to such a statement that could have easily put you out of this system. And I just want to say that I believe that public servants should have two trainings, important and compulsory: anger management training and communication skills training. Right. We've seen this play out a number of times, and I believe that it's a disservice to the position have the office that they represent when they come out and they speak in such a manner. It is disgraceful, it is quite sad, and I hope the Senate takes it up.
Well said, and thank you all for your submission. I think that you all summed up the conversation really nicely. I mean, we're hoping for an apology, like you said, two Nigerians from both parties, Senator Nwaboyi and, of course, Madam Due Process of the Executive. We call her Madam Due Process. I hope she does right. Well, in the meantime, Natasha Akpabio has petitioned the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee to disbar Senator Nedai Maswen, chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions, the senator who recommended her suspension. Well, in the petition, Natasha alleged that Maswen was disbarred in the United States by the New York Supreme Court in 2010 over fraud and misappropriation of client funds. Natasha also claimed that Maswen relocated to Nigeria to continue practicing law but failed to disclose his disbarment in his INEC election forms. Natasha backed her petition with court documents. This comes after she filed a contempt application against Maswen, arguing that her suspension violated a court order restraining the committee from taking disciplinary action against her. Well, meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission has dismissed a recall petition seeking to remove Senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpabio. INEC cited the petitioner's failure to provide valid contact information as a reason for the rejection. Dr. Abati, I'm coming over to you on the story because we discussed it a bit yesterday, and I wanted you to just highlight the process of these sort of recall petition. And of course, the story I took earlier about Natasha taking Senator Maswen to court.
Okay, let me deal with that of Senator Nedai Maswen first. It raises a moral question. And the moral question is that, look, if a person had been debarred somewhere, and then he goes into politics in Nigeria, it means that there is a stain on his character. That's a moral statement that you can make. But there is that old argument whether morality is the same thing with law. Now, the principle here is that if a man has already been punished for a particular offense, if you are asking for that person to be punished a second time, the principle in law is called double jeopardy. So if there is a case of double jeopardy, I'm not even too sure whether the LDPC would go that far to say a person should be punished twice. There's also what they call the 10-year rule. I think it was in 2010 that debarment at the New York Bar, Supreme Court, New York Bar, took place. Now, the 10-year rule says that if you've been, sanctioned for a particular offense, after 10 years, you are deemed to have been born anew.
But do you have to reapply? Don't you have to reapply before?
Well, I don't know. It didn't even show up. I think the narrative that I read said it didn't even show up at the appeal. The third question to ask is that, was he called to the bar here in Nigeria, or where did he get his, is he a member of the Nigerian Bar Association? If he's not a member, can the NBA Disciplinary Committee inquire into the matter? Number 4 is the issue of vendetta. Very obviously, Senator Natasha Akpabio is seeking vengeance, and is thinking that he can use the Legal Disciplinary and Privileges Committee to have a way. Would that body go that way? However, the petition has been submitted. I will not go as far and say, oh, these are recommendations, this is how anybody should. Because no, that will even be prejudicial. It will be prejudicial to that disciplinary committee. They know what the law is. They will look at the various dimensions.
It's a blight on our political system. We must have checks. You see, somebody cannot come all the way from America and they have been suspended by an American bar and he even passes through our political system. this is the same system that harbors criminals. There are a lot of criminals that have been found wanting for drug issues in America that are serving in great positions in Nigeria today. And we have seen that. Some are even special advisors and special assistants. There was a case now in one of the states. So we have seen how porous. It's as if our political system has now become a redemption place for criminals. And please, guys, don't laugh. Yeah. Please. No, I mean, go ahead. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was somebody, I think a top police officer, that at some point was in the sense that said, most of the people here have been to my cell at some point. That's true. Yes. Very true. So the Nigerian political system is now a refuge place for criminals.
That's you said don't laugh. No, but I'm holding myself. You can't be saying
not all of them are criminals, but like I said, it's becoming a refuge place. Okay. People with all sorts of questionable characters going to politics as long as they have the money to spend. Alright. But in this case, like you said, Rani, there's also vendetta. Let's not deceive ourselves. The only reason why Senator Akpabio did file that, it's on the purview of those in charge to go to go to see him. Right. It's because of also a vendetta. Some people will argue that all is fair in war. Some will argue that, a Senator Neda that could violate a court order, that's what it was, push forward for her suspension. Why wouldn't she be able to file and say, it was debarred in the end?
And it was what were they accusing of? What? Misconduct?
Misconduct and all of that with a client.
Same misconduct.
But I think what is most instructive here is, all right, since these allegations were made, we have not gotten to the bottom of allowing Mr. Akpabio to present his facts and allowing Senator Natasha to present their facts. And I think that's where we are throwing the baby with the bathwater. Let us give an independent ad hoc committee a chance to be able to hear both facts out. Then we can get a report. Then we can move on from this matter.
All right, well said, fine. Take another story now. Well, in the wake of the tension over the sexual harassment allegations against Senate President Godswill Akpabio by Natasha former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, during an interview with Adeswa Giwa Osage, alleged that Akpabio has a history of abusing women. Atiku also accused the National Assembly of corruption following President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. He also addressed allegations against Akpabio during his tenure as Akwa Ibom State Governor, describing him as corrupt. Let's take a look.
You decided not to pick the current minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, as your running mate, and some people believe that might have cost you the election. Do you regret not choosing Wike as your running mate?
No, not at all. Because you see, in 2019, when I won the ticket in Port Harcourt, and I came back here and then went straight to Abeokuta to meet my boss, President Obasanjo, and told him, Mr. President, I have bought the ticket. So he asked me, he said, okay, from where is your running mate going to come from? I said, of course, it's either southeast or southwest. He said, no, leave southwest. Because I was there for 8 years. Go to southeast. I said, okay, sir. Do you have anybody in mind? He said, yes. The first person he suggested was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. So I told him Ngozi was not a member of our party. I believe if I forward the name to the party, they would reject. He said, okay. He said, what about Soludo? I said, Soludo too was not a member of our party, so they will not accept. And I said, what about Peter Obi? I said, Peter Obi is a member of the party. He said, okay, take it. I said, okay, sir. So that was it. That was it. So I came back here in this very same building, very same, and some meeting of the party leaders was started by Uche Secondus and others, including Wike himself, Tambuwal. I remember there were about 7 of them. I said, look, I have been to my boss and this is what he said. Do you have any objection? You are leaders of the party and also leaders of the governance forum. They said, no, we don't have objection. I said, okay, go and announce. Now, I came under a lot of criticism after that. they said I did not consult with the party enough. So in 2023, I threw the whole thing to the party. I said, okay, set up a committee and recommend 3 people for me to pick as running mate. And they set up a committee and they came with a recommendation, number 1, number 2, and number 3. So I picked number 1.
Who are the other 2? Number 1, I'm guessing, was Okora.
Yes, the other one was Wike. I think number 2, number 3, I don't... yeah.
Udom.
That's right.
So you didn't pick Wike solely because he wasn't number 1?
He wasn't.
And now you formed a coalition, and included in that coalition is Nasir El-Rufai and possibly Peter Obi. People are asking how successful that coalition can be going into 2027 if everyone heading the coalition wants to be president. So who do you think is going to head the coalition, and are you going to run for president again?
We had a similar, merger in 2014. I mean, excuse me.
Sorry, sir.
And about 4 of us, is it 2 or 3? We all ran for president, and one of us emerged, and we all supported the one who emerged when he won.
So you're going to run again?
I don't know, because there has to be, first of all, a viable platform, and more than any other time in the political history of this country, particularly since the return of democracy, I have not seen Nigeria in the dire need of an experience and credible leadership in this time.
The new president of Namibia is a woman, and her vice president is also a woman.
Yes, I'm aware.
She recently spoke a bit in support of Senator Natasha who's a woman senator in Nigeria who is currently going possibly a recall process, but she's currently been suspended from the Senate. And then also people view her suspension as meaning that the PDP is weak or opposition is weak. Do you believe that the PDP has been weakened in the time?
Yes, definitely the PDP is weak because we have a compromised leadership in the party. There is no doubt about that.
Were you surprised that the state of emergency passed so easily in the National Assembly?
I was not surprised because I know the leadership is corrupt. I have no apologies about that. And they could do anything. And the Senate President is known actually to be, to be having those type of character even when he was a governor. So I got reports quite a lot.
You got reports that when Godswill Akpabio was a governor, he was corrupt?
He was corrupt. Not only he was corrupt, but he was also in the habit of abusing women.
So you got those reports before?
Yeah, I got that report before.
Atiku Abubakar here. I believe that I heard Dr. Bati earlier saying that, this is defamation of character. But I mean, Atiku Abubakar now joins the other list of people that have accused Akpabio of some sort of harassment against women. We had seen the woman who said, I slapped Akpabio, what's her name again, Join Union. And now we are seeing Atiku Abubakar, towing the same line. What's going on here?
Well, it's interesting. So 2 things I want to draw from that interview, the excerpt you showed earlier. When he was talking about his choice for a vice president and that his former boss, President Olusegun Obasanjo, had actually suggested Okonjo-Iweala, I thought, oh my goodness, we missed that as that had been so great. And then Soludo, so he was looking for an economist in that role, but then both of them were not members of the PDP at the time. So I just wanted to put that in there, that Nigeria could have gotten, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as a potential vice president. Right. But beyond that, about this accusation, Recall that when it comes to corruption cases, and I mean his statement, he has to be able to prove it. Absolutely. If not, the Senate President can indeed sue him. But let us examine it. In 2023, the EFCC had asked the Senate President Akpabio to turn himself in over corruption investigations. CSOs had also in 2023 asked that he also present himself for an alleged 1 trillion naira corruption allegation. So he had actually been under investigation by the EFCC over corruption allegations. I think the reason why we can continue to talk about this is because it never reached an end. He became an APC member, a Senate President, and all of a sudden all that went quiet. So maybe we need to revisit it. Yes, to really talk about the fact, and it goes back to what we were saying, that we shouldn't now present the hallowed chambers as a place where we have people who have a lot of skeletons in their cupboard. Then with regards to abuse of women, these are strong allegations, and too many allegations by the Vice President. So I believe that these two things ought to be further probed. They are not just statements, they are coming from a respected person in the person of Atiku Abubakar, and they are very strong statements. Right. So let's revisit the corruption allegation cases and also abuse of women. Very important. Right.
I want to throw stone today. Yes, Atiku Abubakar say that about Akpabio, but people too can say the same for him. Okay. I will read a 2016 newspaper report that said Atiku is being haunted by corrupt demons. Right. El Rufai. All right. And he was talking about, things about allegations and everything.
Thank you for the balance there.
I'm sorry, would you respect? I'm saying I'm putting El Rufai. It's not me.
The fact that you are putting somebody does not absolve you. If you are repeating it.
No, I'm not saying it's all. I'm just saying that El Rufai stated something in 2016.
And I'm telling you, somebody said this.
So all I'm just saying here is there have been corruption allegations across board in this country. All right. And what is most important for us is how can we build the suffering average Nigerian in this country, because that is all that matters. All right. It's not about this grappling with power. All right. Well.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can hear what Atiku Abubakar actually said in this very video that I just finished watching. Arise TV boss, Atiku Abubakar actually said that thing because they never expected it. The question that the interviewer was asking Atiku was the fact that is Akpabio corrupt or not. But the woman did not ask Atiku. Maybe Akpabio is a woman harasser, a woman abuser, and all of that. But Atiku just jumped into that. He said Akpabio is also a woman abuser and woman harasser, all of that. Almost the same thing transpired in course of the 2020 election when Atiku was saying that Tinubu is a certificate forger and all of that, that the Chicago State University certificate that he tendered to INEC to apply for the presidency and all of that is fake and all. A lot of people did not believe it. Even Tinubu himself was just thinking that Atiku was just playing a caricature and all of that he did not know what he's saying. Politicians always come up with publicity stunt and they always come up with different propaganda. That was what they're thinking. But Atiku waited till when Tinubu said Atiku should prove it, and the moment they said Atiku should prove it, he went extra mile. They dug out the certificate and all of that, and they noticed that the Tinubu that was in Chicago State University then was a female, and the Bola Ahmed Tinubu that we know is a man, and all of that. All those drama actually emanated then due to the fact that they said Atiku should prove the evidence or to prove the allegation that he was alleged then. And the same thing is what Atiku is trying to do again. Atiku did not pull his mouth on the case of Natasha and Akpabio for a while, but the moment Atiku just come up now that Akpabio is a woman abuser and a woman harasser, Atiku is waiting patiently for Akpabio to say that he is a lie, that Atiku should prove it. That's when this man will go extra mile again, and that is what is happening. This is not an opposition game according to what Atiku is saying. He said he knows what he's saying before he can accuse Akpabio, because they never asked him about the question regarding Akpabio and Natasha. He just jumped into it. Now a lot of people are saying that is it really true that Akpabio actually arrested Natasha and all of that? That's the question that a lot of people are asking, because Natasha quoted himself put a lot of people to be dumb, because I keep saying it, before you can allege something, before you can point an accusing finger on someone. You need to have an evidence. Even before you can accuse the devil, Satan himself, you need to have evidence of what the devil have done. Even though the people know that there is devil, that this devil have the characteristics and the feature, or he have the potential and he have all it takes to do this particular evil, if there's no evidence, that shows that that thing is questionable. So I don't think that Natasha have any single evidence. Even if it is a single evidence, I miss all the accusation that he accused Akpabio and all of that. Even if it is a single evidence, at least that would have hold Akpabio down. But Natasha, nobody know maybe she's even having an evidence or not, but she keep going to different international stations and making different podcasts and all of that, narrating the story, narrating the ordeal. Now the question out there is, if Akpabio is being prosecuted based on the story that Natasha is actually putting out there in different international stations and all, without an evidence, that shows that Nigerian men are in problem. Let us be realistic, because if Natasha cannot come up with evidence and just accuse Akpabio of being a harasser or an abuser of women and all of that, and no evidence is being provided, and they use the narration of Natasha to put Akpabio in jail or do a manner of thing to Akpabio, a lot of people in Nigeria are in trouble, because a lot of women can take advantage of that thing, and once they don't like a man, they will just come up with the fact that this man is this man is that, and a lot of men will be going to jail with that. So a lot of people are demanding for evidence. A lot of people actually want to fight for Natasha. A lot of media houses, a lot of media platforms, a lot of big names, a lot of politicians are waiting to fight for Natasha. They're waiting for an evidence. Now Natasha will be saying this, Akpabio will be doing this, harassing in different locations. It's not even once, it's not twice, according to what Natasha said. But can you provide, even if there's an audio evidence where you record it, even if it is small clip, just provide it and let everywhere buzz. Those are things that a lot of people are actually demanding for. That's why a lot of people did not even know what to do as far as the Natasha case is concerned. Now, according to everything, it's only people that are close to Akpabio that are actually supporting Akpabio based on this harassment and all of that. The people that know Akpabio from far and distance and all, they never support him, because a lot of them were thinking that Akpabio is capable of doing this kind of thing, because the allegation is not even coming from a single source. The allegation is coming from a different person. A woman came out and said that she slapped Akpabio some years ago when Akpabio was trying to make an advancement on her and all of that, and Natasha is coming up with the same thing. And the Bible said, out of the mouth of two or more witnesses the truth shall be established. And I believe Akpabio is a Christian also. He reads his Bible. Now a lot of people are coming up with the same allegation on Akpabio, and this same Akpabio have a lot of corruption records based on EFCC and all of that. When was still in NDDC and all of that, they said Akpabio embezzled a lot of money, and from there he jumped and entered APC, and from there he jumped and entered the Senate seat. And you know, when they are holding political positions, there will be immunity on them. That's when they will not be able to be questioned based on their past record and every of the criminal records that they have. Now tell me, is Akpabio really innocent of these things? We're waiting for Akpabio to tell Atiku that Atiku is a liar, that Atiku did not know what he's doing. That is when Atiku will come up with fresh evidence. So what are you thinking?
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.